and I think that's where a lot of times you're not getting that information at some of the places you're at, and it's difficult. So I like to take a little bit of time and just talk about it and answer any questions because there's, it's more challenging than some might think at times. And then obviously I like to show off our basketball arena because it's one of the best in the country. So it's about, I think, a $45 million building that they built 4 years ago. It's won a bunch of awards and been voted top 5 in the country. So we think it's a pretty cool place for our basketball team and volleyball. They play here, and obviously if you've got a chance to look around campus, they, we're very committed to athletics, and we just announced on last Friday or last Saturday we had our groundbreaking for our north end zone project, which is a $20 million upgrade to our football facility. They're having a great year. They're 8-2, and we're in the top 25, and unfortunately lost on Thursday night, so they'll probably fall out now. So our school is very committed to athletics, and it's something that we take a lot of pride in. So definitely an opportunity to come in here and show everybody what we have. Our facility, I do apologize, our field usually looks good, but as you can tell, the Bermuda grass and the ryegrass right now are in their battle. So the ryegrass will take over here, and it'll be green in probably a week or so. We just overseeded it last week, so it's kind of in that in-between stage. The Bermuda can't survive in this weather, and the rye hasn't quite taken over yet. So, but what we'll do is we actually have one of our players, so we'll have her introduce herself. Some of you had a chance to meet her. She can kind of talk a little bit about her story, which is one of the many unique stories in college soccer, especially in the women's side. And I'll get more into that here in a minute. So Haley, come on up. So name, where you're from, how you got here, why you came here, that whole stuff. You've done this enough times. So.
Yeah, I'm Haley Robertson. I'm from Virginia. I transferred. I was at Auburn University my freshman year, and I transferred here my sophomore year. Came here, knew Jason from back in the day, and kind of got in contact with him when he was at Florida initially, and I remember he'd seen me play some and came here. It was a great program. He had taken over and really started going upwards, so I was just like, I think this would be a good place, and I love it here. Like, it's definitely a good all-around experience with the team and the girls, and just a good experience for me, so. Yeah.
What's your major?
Oh, I'm broadcast journalism major, minor public relations. This is actually my senior year in the classroom. I believe that's the word. Yes. Senior year in the classroom, yes.
So she's graduating in May, but has another year of eligibility, so she's going to work on her master's here next year while she's still playing.
Yeah, should be fun.
So that's one of the unique. So I originally saw and recruited Haley when I was an assistant at University of Miami.
Oh, yeah.
Then I was as an assistant at University of Florida. She was playing at Auburn, so then played against her. And then when I got the job, her mom actually moved to Alabama in that whole process, and she wanted to stay close to home. And Troy was a good fit because we had a relationship from the past, and somewhere that she could come in and enjoy a successful career. So that's just one of the very unique stories. Obviously, there's so many. We have players that commit to us as freshmen in high school, and then this year we have a 2017 who, this will be my 4th season, she committed to us as a freshman in high school. We have some that commit to us in July, and the season starts in August. So it is never too early, and it's never too late. It's about what's good for you, and that's, I think, the most important. Is some people kind of get caught up in when they're doing this because other people on their team are doing it, because there's pressure from parents or the club or the college itself or that kind of thing. So, my best advice is, you have to do what's good for you. At the end of the day, there's everybody who is at our camp. There's somewhere you can play college soccer. There's 333 Division I teams. I think there's 220 Division II teams. Couldn't even tell you what the number is for Division III. I just got back yesterday from a week at the Junior College National Championship, which was down in Florida, and I watched junior colleges from Laramie, Wyoming, Tampa, Tyler, Texas, all over the country. So there's junior colleges, and there's players that were at that event that we will make offers to. That there was a player committed to Colorado, there was a player committed to Tennessee. So there's all those different levels It's just a matter of what you want out of the experience and finding that fit for you. I think that's the most important. I think there's, finding out what you're getting yourself into is really important. I think that's a big thing. I think like these ID camps I love, we had 8, we've brought in, with this year's incoming freshmen, we will be at, not counting transfers, I think we'll be at 37 players that we've brought in since our staff took over. And out of 37 incoming freshmen, 35 of them have been at one of our ID camps. The only 2 that didn't come to our ID camp, both are from Sweden, so that was difficult for them to come to our ID camp. But everyone else, and that's players from Idaho, Maryland, a bunch from Florida, Georgia, Alabama, Texas, Michigan, Indiana, Illinois. So, we've had players come from all over the country, and to me, one, you getting to experience how we coach. You might leave here and say, I can't play for that guy, just don't like him, and that's good. Like, you don't want to play for me if you can't think I'm a good coach. So knowing how we play is important. Seeing the school, seeing the facilities, those things are all very important. And just you getting that exposure. To me, that like to have a controlled environment like a camp is much better than we come. When I go to you guys are all at these tournaments, there's games from 8 a.m. till 6 p.m. and there's 20 fields. And we have a staff of 3. So even if we're all at that event, us trying to see everybody out there is really, really hard. So, having a controlled environment here where we can move you around to different positions like we said we would if we think we might see a, playing somewhere else. Having the training side of it, the technical stuff that's important to us, those are all things that allow us to, just take control of rather than we're at your game for maybe 15 minutes and, it's a game that doesn't necessarily showcase what you're capable of. But I think identifying the different levels and where you fit in is really, really important. There's the Division I teams, the top tier, top 25 Division I teams. The top 15 Division I teams are all recruiting the same 50 or 60 kids. They're all going after the same kids. They're all going after the national team players, those players that are going to be able to play at that highest level and compete for a national championship. Then you get that, I call lower end Power 5 teams to higher end mid-major teams, which is where we've fit in the last couple of years. We've been, I think, 2 years ago, 72nd in the country. Last year, 61 in the country. So we're competing with those teams that are finishing in the bottom of the SEC and the ACC. We're kind of next in the pecking order of being able to get in and see the players that we want and have them on campus and those sort of things. And then before you even get to the teams in Division I, underneath that, you have some of the Division II teams that are, they could beat some of the Division I teams. So then they're kind of in that order. I always say don't get hung up on, I'm going to play Division I soccer, because there's a lot of really bad Division I soccer teams out there. Not very well funded. You're not going to get a great experience as a student athlete. They're not, going to have very good players. So don't get caught up in I'm going to go to this school because it's D1 over, I'm going to go to this school because they're D2. Because there's some really good Division II schools out there, especially in the Southeast. So I think it might be the Peach Belt Conference. They've put teams in the Final Four the last few years. West Florida is always good. Columbus State's always good. We've actually had a few players transfer to St. Leo, and they went to the, I think, round of 34 and went to the tournament. So, there's really, really good Division II teams. There's really, really good NAI teams that could beat, Division I teams. There's really good Division III teams. It's about finding out what comes with each one of those, different schools. So Division I, the level we're at, we are, it's hard. It's hard to be an athlete at this level. We have the least amount of restrictions. We can go 20 hours a week with athletics. So that's team meetings, video, weight room, on the field. We can go 20 hours. Then how many classes do you have this semester?
14 hours.
14 or 15 hours. So there's another 14, 15 hours. Now you're at 35 hours a week. That's not counting going and seeing the trainer for any treatment that you need. That's not counting your study hall, which could be, depending on your grades, another up to 8 hours, depending on what your grades are. So you're putting in well over 40 hours to be an athlete at this level. It's a big commitment. In the fall, we train at 7 a.m. So you have to be in the locker room by 6:30. So you are getting up hopefully by 6:15, and having a snack on your way over to practice. Then you're going to class after practice, and then you're going to meet with your tutors. You might have lifting that afternoon. You have to see the trainer somewhere in there because you have an injury. You might have a class at night. So, I tell everybody this because it's like you need to know what you're getting yourself into. It's very different from other things. We go full year. We're not. People say it's off season, but we actually get back here from break in January, and we start right back up, and we go every day. So, we have what's called a championship season, which is our national championship is in the fall and in December, and then our non-championship season is in the spring. But that just means our games don't count towards our rankings, and there's no championship. We still play games, we still train, we still go every day. That's the difference with some of the other levels. Division II starts later in the year, like they start 2 weeks after us in August. Division III starts even later than that. Division III can only train 12 times in the spring. So they have 12 team trainings all spring. We're going every day for up until the week before finals. So each division has a little bit different restrictions. Scholarships is a big thing. Everybody always wants to know about scholarships. Division I is 14. If you're a fully funded Division I program, it's 14 scholarships. Division II is 9.9, I believe. Division III is no athletic scholarships. Junior college is 18 scholarships. NAIA, it's mostly going to end up based on what that school is willing to fund. So knowing that is important. Where does that play a role in your priority? 14 scholarships. When you have a roster of 30, that means you've got to spread that money around. And a lot of times people, either the expectations aren't there, or what they hear from friends isn't quite the truth. Like, I'm getting a full ride to this school. There's very, very few players at any level of Division I that have a full ride. If I'm going to give somebody a full ride, that person, I need to be guaranteed they're scoring me 15 goals a year, and that doesn't happen very often. So you're going to spread your money out to try and maximize getting the players that you can get, because you have to have enough on the roster. We had 32 on our roster this year, and we got to the point towards the end of the season we were lucky if we had 20 healthy people to dress. So roster size, you guys are. That's one of the questions I always get. I see you carry 30 people. Like, why? It's hard. Like, college soccer is very hard. It's very physical. The turnaround, we have weekends where we're in North Carolina on Friday and in Texas on Sunday. And so you just played 110